Thought I had a plan coming into this, but it's still really hard to talk about and make it make sense. But the truth is that it doesn't really make sense. Hello, good evening. It's Avery. I'm back even though the weekend passed because it was very busy and stressful because I was stressing over this job interview that I had this morning. And I think I did really well, so now that stress is gone. It's gone. So today I wanted to touch on a subject that I've wanted to talk about for a while. Cause it's touchy. Touch on a touchy subject. You get it? So obviously you read the title. You already know what this video is about. So let's just get into it. I don't even know. I think I'm gonna start at the beginning, kind of. So growing up in my household, we were a family of 5, mom, dad, 2 sisters, and a brother. Politics was a topic of conversation that we were not allowed to talk about at all. I don't know, we had dinner together every single night and we had lots of conversations, but politics was something that we just did not talk about. And I never really knew why. I mean, obviously I was younger, so I wasn't really into politics for a while, but once I got into high school and I started to become more aware and more educated, I became more aware of this and how maybe it's not the most normal thing to 100% avoid any talk of politics. And I figured it was because my parents had different political views. I thought my dad was a Republican and my mom was a conservative, and that was just it. I don't really know. I guess it kind of makes sense that it was just something we never talked about, and I guess that's a bad sign maybe in a marriage, because then they divorced later when I was in high school, so 2 + 2. So my parents split up, and I all of a sudden was put into 2 different worlds and kind of 2 different family units. And it was then that I learned that I was actually very wrong, and it was my mom who was conservative and my dad who was more liberal. And it just I don't know, it was just crazy just knowing my mom and dad's personality just didn't make sense with who they were, but that was the fact. That was a fact. Anyway, I guess let's fast forward to now, in that my mom is still conservative and my dad is still liberal. And it's rough out here. Yeah. And I think I thought I had a plan coming into this, but it's still really hard to talk about and make it make sense. But the truth is that it doesn't really make sense. I'm able to have conversations with my dad about all of the current things that I'm talking with everyone about. The election, Black Lives Matter, everything that's important to me. But when it comes to my mom, on the other hand, I can't do that. We don't agree on many, many things, and we've gotten into fights about it. And the fights, they just got to be too much, and so we made a deal between me and Killian and my mom that we would start walking on eggshells around each other, and that we would avoid these conversations to avoid having fights. And there's a lot of pressure on social media, especially on Twitter, to drop the people in your life who voted for the other side. Drop your family. Everyone's saying they don't love you, they don't care about you because they voted for the other side. And I don't like that. They make me uncomfortable and they make me feel weird because I feel like they don't account for people like me whose lives and experiences are so complex and intertwined with their family that it's not so, I don't know, it's not so cut and dry for me. I totally support cutting toxic people out of your life. But like I said, the relationship with my mom that I have is so complex and about I wish I had an answer for you if that's what you were looking for. But all I can give you is my opinions and my feelings, which are constantly fluctuating and changing. But overall, just knowing my family history, knowing things that I'll never share with other people because they're that personal. Cutting my mom off isn't an option for me. Not because it's literally not an option, I'm choosing not to do it. But, I don't know, I just feel like there's so much more that we could learn about each other. And although I feel like my side is right, and maybe she feels like her side is right, and maybe we won't be able to agree on the things that I hope that we can one day agree on, but other than the fact that, you know, it's hard to say, I want to say politics aside, but like nowadays, that's not how it works, because so many people's politics is actually just being against human rights. And the point is that people who vote for Trump are either racist, homophobic, transphobic, Islamophobic, ableist, and a lot of other things, or they decided that those things were not a deal breaker for their president. And it's mind-boggling. It's crazy. It's crazy, and it's crazy to think that half the country feels that way. And so that alone makes you want to cut someone off, just like that's a fact. And I don't know. I don't know how I truly feel. I know that I love my mom, and I know that she's been here for me every step of the way throughout my transition, and has been my biggest supporter. And it's just like, I don't know, it's like, what does that mean? It's just two sides that are polar opposite, kind of, and it doesn't make sense to me. And I don't know, I question how much I value myself, how much I care about myself. Half of this video you don't know because I edited it, but half of this video has been me sitting here in silence, just trying to think about what the hell I believe in, and what I mean, and what I want. And I don't know. When I decided that I was gonna start making videos more often, I decided that I wasn't gonna care so much about having the answer, and more so recognize and understand that maybe someone else just listening to me and knowing that I'm also struggling is enough. Because I don't have the answer, and I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know where it's gonna go. Biden just got elected. Hell fucking yes. I don't know, maybe this is gonna mean something really good for our relationship, but I just, like I said, cutting off my mom was never an option for me. There's too much family history and things that I believe we could eventually work out, and that's enough for me to keep going, you know, to keep trying. All right. I'm gonna sign off. Catch you next weekend. Hopefully, have a great week.